This week's episode is going to be all about finishing. But before I do that, I have to go move my car. Alright, finished moving my car. So yeah, this week's episode is going to be all about finishing. Well, now I'll go for a run first. Alright, I'm back for my run. I'm just gonna check my emails, then we'll get back into the vlog. Alright, I think you get the idea. The whole point about this video is about finishing a product and always having something to procrastinate on. This is a thing I've been noticing a lot lately, is that the closer I get to finishing the game and the harder it becomes to actually stay focused and actually keep working on it in a very steady pace. And this is something I've been struggling for a very long time now, is actually finishing the game. Like, how do you finish a game? When I started making games, there was so many things I didn't know, like how to do pretty much everything. Programming, how to do the art, how to do the shaders, storytelling, level design, all of that had to be learned. And I wish somebody had told me that actually finishing the product would probably be the hardest part of it all. And I've been exploring the idea recently to try to understand a little bit what's happening behind the scene, about what's causing me to struggle a little bit more about finishing the game as the people around. And definitely finishing is not something that I'm the only one that struggles with that. There's a whole book about it that I read recently called The War of Art. And in the book what it describes is that there's a resistance with a capital R, that is always present when you're trying to do creative stuff. And the resistance will manifest itself in any different type of kind, and in many different ways. The way that your brain is wired is that it doesn't want you to do work, and it wants to run away from work as much as possible. So there's this resistance that creeps up out of nowhere. You can have trouble waking up in the morning, or if you work from home like me, there's so many things that can creep up into your day to slow down. So for example, I'll sit down at my desk, getting myself ready to work. I said at 10 a.m. I'm gonna start to work on this project, and then when I sit down, oh, my mug of coffee is empty. So I'm going to the kitchen to brew a brand new coffee, and then, well, the dishes aren't done. Well, I guess I should do the dishes because I didn't do them yesterday, so I might as well do it right now. And so I do the dishes, and that takes a bit of time. But that's okay, it's gonna be clean, my mind's gonna be clean, it's gonna be able to work for it. That's good, I need to do it. I'm not procrastinating, I'm being productive, I'm cleaning the dishes. Now the dishes are done, I head back to my office with my coffee in my hand, and well, I realized I had to do laundry, so might as well just start that up. It's gonna take 5 minutes, so might as well just put the clothes in there and start the machine, and it's gonna be fine. Then you get into the office and you realize, well, there's other things I need to do. There's always something new that can creep up. Things that are not super critical, things that are not super important in the short term. There's always something that's gonna come up. And that's what resistance can manifest itself as. Because doing all of those tasks seems productive, but basically you're not doing any progress on your main goal of finishing a video game. It's just maintenance. It's not helping you right now. It can be done later. And a bit of the things that I think are against me is, since I'm learning how to do game dev even today, I'm still learning so many things. I actually put way too much effort into making sure that my first chapter of my game was absolutely polished. And it put me into this mode of thinking that every single part that I do after should be this polished. But one of the problems when you do that is that you over-focus on little details, and then you basically do no progress in the end. So I was planning to finish my spaceship back in December, I think last year. We're now in July, and it's still not finished. It does look much better than what it was back in December, and I think some of the work that I have done was critical, but I cannot keep doing it this way for the rest of the game, otherwise I'll still be there in 5 years, and that's not what I want. So I was asking around, trying to get a little bit of tips about what I can do, and one of them was, I just need to sit down and actually do the work. So I'm not gonna sit down and see that some lighting is weird or like some asset need to be changed just a little bit, or I need to add a little bit more polish. There's dedicated space in my week schedule that's gonna be strictly designed to push the game forward. And this dedicated time will just be done at doing the rest of the game. So that's why every week now I have a Wednesday afternoon that I stream on Twitch, and this part is dedicated only at pushing the new content out and not working on any existing thing. So it's always a 4 hours minimum that I put every week at creating new puzzles or adding new environment that will come out later in the game. And then when I'm at some point feeling like it, or I don't feel like creating new things, I can go back and polish these things the same way that I've done with the spaceship level. So resistance is going to keep creeping up, and the longer and the closer you get to the end, there's more resistance coming up. Whether it's in the game itself, over polishing things that don't matter, it can also be, well, I need to do the dishes and I need to do this and I should do this, and then there's always a bit of other ideas that come and take away from the work that you're supposed to do, and that's actually finishing the game. And I asked my game devs around if they had any tips for me, and the only reaction that they give me is, it's hard to finish a game. That's it. There's no actual tips that they're saying that I'm doing something wrong. No, there's definitely something hard in doing this. And there's definitely the feeling of, well, I don't feel creative, I don't feel like doing the work, I'm not in the mood, I'm gonna do something else, and then the creativity is gonna come. But the reality is no, you just need to sit down and start working. That's the only way that you're gonna do progress. So whatever you do, your brain's always gonna creep up to the next easiest thing to do. So it's much easier to do the dishes when you're trying to find the perfect story, the perfect ending to your game. And if you let your mind win, then you're gonna do the dishes instead of writing that final writing portion that you need to complete. And as funny as it sounds, I was procrastinating finishing this video. I had to really put it in my calendar that this vlog is gonna be finished at this time, and I'm gonna record all of the footage I'm doing right now at this moment in the day. Because otherwise my schedule was already full, but I didn't want to procrastinate on the vlog anymore, so I just did it anyway and I pushed everything off. So the tip here is to just, you have to keep pushing, you have to put it in your calendar, and you have to fight resistance. When you understand that there's something in your mind that prevents you from doing these things, you can say, hey resistance, you stay in bed, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. You feel lazy one morning, well, that's resistance that's stopping you from getting up and getting to work. So no, resistance, you stay in bed, I have stuff to do. But what's the point of finishing if there's nobody at the end to be there when you're done? This is also something that I've been wondering a lot lately about. What if I make a game and nobody's there to play it in the end? So like when you cross the finish line and nobody's there to support you. And it's not just a question of ego, it's also, I'm creating games because I want people to play them, and if there's nobody to play them, then pretty much I've wasted my time. At least that's how I see it. I've possibly reached maybe 600, 700 people played the game at least once during my journey. But how can I bring that to 10,000, 100,000? Like, I'd love more people to experience what I'm creating. So that's why I'm going tonight and tomorrow to Gameplay Space right here. And there's a conference called Disco Montreal, and it's their first time organizing that. So for this 1 week conference that's happening on Saturday, we will be learning about a few success stories from other game developers, and they'll share a little bit about their stories about marketing their own game. We have people from Twitch, we have people from Lunart Studio, we have the people that made this War of Mine and Frostpunk. We'll learn some advanced Reddit tactics and also some email newsletter things, so should be really interesting. I'll have to take some notes.